And we are back.
Y'all already know that's right. Back again for another episode of the Hoop Plug.
Yes, sir. And as always, rocking with you, it's your boy Faraz in the building. And I got with me my brother, my dog, my co-CEO, Stir Fry Tyler. How you feeling today, my dog?
I'm feeling good, bro. Ready to get back on wax for another jam-packed episode. How you feeling, my brother, my dog, my co-host for Ross?
Good, man. Good. You already know, man. Another episode of the Hoop Plug, another episode of greatness. Disappointed about gonna have to talk about LeBron. Gonna have to start thinking about where he stands in the GOAT ranking. But at the end of the day, Michael Jordan is still number one. Other than that, I'm feeling good, my brother, my dog, my co-host. And without further ado, let's just get into it.
Yeah, man. Look, I'm looking at something. With the way offense has exploded in this league, the real defensive difference makers have actually become more valuable than the 25 a night type of guys. I'm not talking about the Pat Beverleys of the world. It may only be three or four of these guys I'm talking about right now. He don't make the cut. But who I am talking about is those perimeter guys that can legitimately guard 4 or 5 positions, capable of taking an all-star off their game. And one of those guys, none other than OG Anunoby. Knicks are 12-2 in January. That's all since the trade. They've been the best defense in the league. And all since one of those 3 or 4 guys showed up. OG just put on his latest masterclass against Denver, whooped them boys by 30, and he held Jamal Murray under 10 points. The man is different, bro.
Man, you know what's funny? If OG Anunoby style was ever hated on before in New York City, man, it's definitely not hated on now. In the past, people might have thought of it as boring, not flashy. You don't look at the stat sheet, it doesn't show up, but nah. When he's on your team, he becomes instantly a fan favorite because of what you just said. Not only is he able to give you something consistent on the offensive end, not only is he able to spread the floor, but what he's able to do to the number one guy, number two guy, typically the number one guy on that other team, slow him down, keep a guy like Jamal Murray who's been on fire. I mean, this Nuggets team has been rolling. To be able to hold them to less than 10 points, got to really tip the hat to OG. Like you said, something special is really brewing in New York. I didn't expect this signing to make such an impact, but in an NBA where points are so easy to come by, we see people dropping 60, 70. I mean, in the last
Yep.
week alone, we've had 4 guys drop 60 plus. Defense is becoming ever so valuable, and the impact is becoming ever so great. Great point, Ty.
Yeah, and I look at OG, built like LeBron with a motor made for playing defense. He's the only guy in the league that can guard Dame one night and Joel Embiid the next. It's very interesting to watch the versatility, what he can do for a team. I mean, I know he's living in a fantasy. I mentioned it before, but every night he's running out 5 guys that are going to defend. It's the reason Evan Fournier has been locked in purgatory on his bench. And also the reason they've become so deadly. We just saw Julius Randle go down with that shoulder injury. Probably going to be a month till he gets back out here. So we'll see how they fare without him. Their number 2 scorer, but some reason for optimism in New York. But back to what you were saying, bro, scoring. We're in the big boom. This is the renaissance of the NBA. We're talking about guys that come in ready to get buckets immediately.
Yeah, no question. I mean, before we even get into that, I got to touch real quick on our boy, head coach over in New York, man, Tibbs. He's looking light on his feet. He's smiling. He's happy. He feels like it's 2011 in Chicago. Like you said, 5 people playing defense, impactful team, winning games the way that he likes it. And a lot of people blame Tibbs for being hard headed. Well, hey, listen, finally, it only took 13 years and he's back to exactly where he wants to be. But like you alluded to, I mean, we see Karl Anthony Towns with the 62 piece. Joel Embiid said, I'm going to do you one better the same night, dropping 70. Devin Booker comes out and says, hey, don't forget about me. I'm still part of the conversation. And Luka comes out and bests them all. He ties for fourth all time scoring in a game with David Robertson, Wilt Chamberlain. I mean, whenever your name is in the conversation with those kind of guys, especially when it comes to scoring, yeah, you've done something right. Yeah, but all those games that I've just mentioned, that's from January 22nd. I mean, it's been 5, 6 days since we've had all of those scoring outputs, and it says something about the league. I don't know if it's the talent is that much better or if it's that much easier to score. I don't know.
Yeah, and you're going to see it when we're getting ready to predict these all-star reserves because there are so many talented players in this league. It is becoming even more difficult to fill out a ballot for the all-star game. But bro, I heard you got some thoughts on Bron you want to share.
Man, whether you hate him, whether you love him, when it comes to that guy LeBron James, you got to respect what he's done to cement his name in history as one of the greatest to ever do it, man. Not so long ago, we were talking about Kareem's record, 38 carrying some change, points all time, untouchable, the greatest. How could someone ever even do it? No one's going to even come close to it. Well, a short time from that, we've got LeBron James. He's got 40K right up center stage, and he's that close to reaching it. LeBron James less than 300 points away from hitting 40,000 points. That'd be the first time anyone had ever hit the mark for a career in NBA history.
Still showing up, still showing out. Old man James. I got it again. We just saw him and old man Steph. Yeah, it's old man Steph now. Dueling it out, double OT. We're about to have to get the Walker out there. But man, the crazy thing is the longevity. It's all the things you've heard about. And I don't know if you saw this last video we put out a week ago. We talked about and gave credit to the Warriors, especially in their heyday, as being the reason LeBron is not the GOAT. We got some pushback on that in the comment section, like MJ is the reason. And yeah, that's a semantic battle, but
that's facts.
if the Warriors weren't there, we're looking at Bron with 7, 8 rings. He's cakewalking to the finals as he was in the East. And then it's just like he's facing the Raptors again in the finals. Like it would be light work. There's no question in my mind no one else was going to raise up and defeat that man. So yeah, I mean, obviously MJ is the reason he's not number one, but it's also the Warriors that played a role there.
Facts. Now, I'm not going to lie. Why you think I love the Warriors so much? I mean, yeah, who doesn't like the fun, entertaining style of basketball, sending threes from everywhere? I mean, especially that 14-15 and that 15-16 Curry. My goodness, he was elite. And we can't even get into the Kevin Durant days. It just was not fair, right? But that is why I love the Golden State Warriors, because they have stopped LeBron from ever touching Michael Jordan's legacy, man. Michael Jordan's the GOAT. I don't care what you say in the comments. You're going to have to fight me on that one. I'll drop the Addy. Nah. But speaking of breaking records, man, I mean, we've got to tip our hat off. I mean, to the second greatest player of all time, what he's been able to do, it's just astounding. I mean, another record being broken, his 20th All-Star appearance, and he didn't just, walk his way, crawl his way, tumble his way into it like everyone would expect an old man to do, the way Michael Jordan did when he was 41. He was voted a starter. The fans feel like he still got something left to give. And I mean, it's apparent by his performance in the season. So again, wherever LeBron goes, records are being broken. You see the glass of the former records on the floor nearby.
Yeah, man, it's crazy. So you mentioned it, all-star starter. Let's mention the other starters before we get into these reserve predictions. In the East, we got Giannis, Joel Embiid, Jason Tatum, Halliburton, and Damian Lillard. That was the one that caught a little pushback. Knicks fans wanted their guys, Jalen Brunson, in the starting lineup. I personally think he should have got there, but we're splitting hairs. They're both amazing players. And then in the West, like we mentioned, LeBron, team captain for the umpteenth time in a row, Kevin Durant, Nikola Jokic, Luka Doncic, and first-time all-star SGA. What's your feelings on the starters, bro?
No surprises there. I mean, like you said, on the Western front, we got Luka, who just dropped 73. LeBron James, we just finished talking about him. KD, Nikola Jokic. Some people might talk about Shea, but I've been waiting for this to happen. I mean, he's got his first All-Star last season, now his first time starting. The guy is a walking 30-piece, and his team is top 3 in the league, right? Like, his team – they went from being, a couple years ago, a collection of young talent who's getting their asses kicked in the league to being a serious championship contender. I said it. We talk about defensive guys, right? I'm gonna go on a little tangent here because I wanted to mention him. They got a guy like that in Lou Dort. They've got Chet Holmgren, Shea Gilgeous. I mean, you go down the roster. This is a team that, I mean, even if not this season, next season, in the next 3 to 5 years, is contending for a championship. So I don't have any complaints. It's like you said before, we're splitting hairs here. If you want to go in one other direction, I wouldn't necessarily argue it, but I can't be mad at it. What about you?
Yeah, man, I agree with you. So let's get into these reserves: 2 guards, 3 front courts, and 2 wild cards, if you want to call it. That's how it goes down for the last 7 spots on the All-Star rosters. So I'm going to pitch my idea for the East, bro. You ready for this?
Okay.
All right. Guard, obviously, Jalen Brunson, right? Could have been a starter, but we're getting past that. Donovan
Yeah.
Mitchell as my second guard, having a great season again down in Cleveland. Jaylen Brown, Celtics' best record in the East. They got to have 2 All-Stars. Julius Randle as another front court spot. Bam as the third front court spot. Now we got the wild cards. And for those 2 players, I got Tyrese Maxey out of Philly and Bam Adebayo. Oh, not Bam. I already mentioned Bam. And Paolo Banchero getting his first nod. Two guys getting their first nod. So the snubs there, Porzingis, Jimmy Butler, DeMar, and Trae Young.
Well, I think you can attest DeMar to winning. That's one for sure. I mean, that's
Yeah.
I'll keep it a stack from the beginning. Kristaps, I mean, listen, at the end of the day, he's been balling. I mean, we've got to give him his credit. I know you probably don't want to admit this as a Knicks fan, but what's the difference between the Celtics this year and last year? I mean, it's Kristaps having a young, big, who I mean, Al was great, but he's not able to do the things that Kristaps is able to do, the way he's able to defend, the way he's able to extend the floor on offense. Al's got some of the same things, but Kristaps has been doing it at a way higher level with a way higher motor. So I that one is but every single individual who's made the All-Star roster, every single person that you've talked about deserves to make it. I was sitting there just waiting for you to say Tyrese. Tyrese didn't get the nod. I was gonna lose it.
No,
So
we got Tyrese up there. I
yeah,
think the
yeah.
one I wouldn't be surprised to not make it is Paolo Banchero. They had a strong start. They've kind of fell back to the middle of the East, but I mean, again, you're splitting hairs there. Porzingis, I think, is the best and the most likely to elevate out of that group. All right, let's go to the West.
I'm gonna let you run it just like you did. I'm gonna let you know if I got any feedback. I like that right
All
there.
right, so we already talked about the starters, the 2 guards, Steph Curry, Anthony Edwards. You can't have a problem there.
No, nah, that's
Front court
impossible.
guys, yeah, front court guys, Kawhi, AD, Alpern Sengun. I got Sengun out of Houston, which, if you're talking about the winning battle, is very tough, especially when I tell you who got snubbed. And then for my 2 others, I got D Book as
Okay.
one. And then this is where I wasn't even sure. I got PG, Kawhi, Sabonis, Kyrie, De'Aaron Fox, Karl Anthony Towns for one last spot in the West. West is loaded, bro. I'm not even sure who I put.
Yeah, I mean, there's no shot for Chet, that's for sure. Um, I think, bro. I mean, even though we talk about the winning and everything like that, I mean, the Rockets have done very good this season. No one has expected them to have the record that they've had, and I mean, a big part of it is not just getting Van Vliet, but I mean the emergence of Sengun. He's been
Yeah,
absolutely balling. A walking
beast.
double, 21 and a half, basically 21 and a half and 10, right? 5 assists a game. That's elite numbers right there. I'm about to shine up the rookie cards that I got for this guy.
He's looking
Get
like
him
a prime
graded.
Big Baby Davis out there in Houston, bro. I really like his game. It's a throwback play style, and I'm here for it. A little bit like Faraz on the court with the
Come on, man. Come on, man. You know the
back to the
vibes. Come
basket
on. Come on, man. He even hit somebody with some Hakeem moves. I was like, yeah, yeah.
footwork.
Sangoon, yeah, you know what I'm saying? He's right. He's about to get the Rockets right. They've I was shocked at first. I mean, they bring in Van Vliet, Dylan Brooks, both smaller guards. I mean, yes, solid players in the league. Van Vliet, former All-Star, but I didn't expect them to do much, especially with how many young guys they had in their front court. I mean, sorry, in their back court that would be losing minutes. And then guys like Sengun who are unproven. But he's come out and he showed that he deserves to be in there. But the only problem is now you list all the guys you just talked
Mm.
about. Darren Fox, Kyrie, Cat just dropped 62 for Christ's sakes. I mean, sheesh, you know? And I'm not even touching on a bunch of other guys you didn't mention.
Yeah, Chet could actually have a case because if you talk about winning, which is always the tiebreaker in these situations, who's
Yep.
got the *1 record in the West? Oh yeah,
It's
it's the
OKC.
OKC Thunder.
And
And
the
when
only
you have the
reason I
top
call
record, you usually get in 2 All Stars at the minimum, 2, not 3, if not 3.
At least. And I only call them top 3 because I think that they're going to probably come down a little bit before the end of the season. I mean, you just look at teams even like the Lakers. I mean, they're up and they're down. You know, they're going to
Yeah.
start winning some games. You have other teams that are going to probably start coming back to reality, but I don't think it's unrealistic for them to finish top three. They could very much so finish top team in the West, you know, but
Yeah.
they got a lot of work ahead of them.
And I'm
So
not gonna leave y'all hanging. I'm not gonna just say it's very tough and give y'all the names. It when you, I'm gonna force myself to pick someone. So for these tiebreakers, right, the fan votes just for the starters. It does have some influence, but for these last spots, it's ultimately the coaches and the front offices that have the voting to get these guys the nod. So
yep.
if I'm putting myself in a coach's perspective, PG, Sabonis, Kyrie, it's got to be Paul George getting that last spot, in my opinion. James Harden deserves a shout. Kyrie deserves, bro. Like we didn't even mention James Harden, dog. Like it's
Facts. But that's his fault. They got four guys. I mean, Russell, no, but like they've got four guys potentially easily could be an all star. You know, and we're talking about really just Kawhi. We're forgetting Paul George is the last spot, and Paul George is putting up 23, 5, and 4. You know, 25, 24, 5, and 4. So
yeah.
jokey numbers.
Not at
So
all.
jokey numbers. You know, so
It's tough.
I
Yo,
I would
I
give
gotta
the nod to
migrate back
Paul
to the.
George, bro. I would
You
give
gotta
the
do
nod to
that too.
Paul George.
Okay.
Yeah.
And you agree with Sengun? You got Sengun making the first nod?
I think he deserves it. I think he deserves it. You look at everybody else's numbers, and I think you look at where the Rockets were and are this season. I think he deserves it. You
Yeah.
know, I think that Kyrie, Cat, all these guys, like, they deserve to be in the conversation. But it's like you mentioned before, it's splitting hairs. It's really who you prefer to see in what spot. You know.
Yeah. So let's talk about the game itself. I know we're still a few weeks away, but we're switching the style up. Adam Silver, fresh off that new bag, got the extension, 10 years. Okay, I see it. They make so much, bro, these commissioners.
Dude.
Jesus. Gee. For the game itself, we're seeing a switching format. No more drafting teams. No more Jokic getting awkwardly picked last. It's East-West traditional matchup like we used to see back in the day. You think it's going to be a good game, bro? Or are we in for more of the same alley-oops, threes from half court, no defense?
That's a bad game to you, bro. No, man. I mean, don't get me wrong. Like, I hear what you're saying, but frankly, like the All Star game is about. I mean, not necessarily the defense part, but about the wild shots and the alley oops. The point is making them right. But if you've noticed, I mean, for sure, the format as of late, you've really seen teams get competitive in the last quarter, right? But that's if it's even in reach. I like this. I like going back to the old format. You know, I think it adds some conference pride to it. Whereas,
Yeah.
it's like I don't really give a crap about as much as I love you, LeBron. I'm not repping Team LeBron the same way I'd rep Team Western Conference, you know? So yeah, I like it. I like it. I think it's a good move. And I mean, don't get me wrong, there's the positives and there's the negatives from to switching back. But I think we saw some of the shortcomings of the new style. So I think it doesn't ever hurt to go back to the old and see what happens.
Yeah, I did like the Elam ending. I think that's what they called it when there's a target score and there's a guaranteed
Mm-hmm.
game winner. I'm
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
a little disappointed they didn't bring that part back, but hopefully it's a good game.
With that being said, you already know we got to shout out our good friends, the good folks over at evanalexandergrooming.com. The only place, the greatest place to get what you need for hair care, skin care, men's grooming,
Yes, sir.
beard care, all in one.
Yep. Make sure you guys are using that promo code hoop_plug_ for that smooth 20% off discount at checkout.
Yes, sir. You already know it's not Dame time. It's Hoop Plug discount on evanalexandergrooming.com time. With that being said, shouts out to evanalexandergrooming.com, and that'll do with another episode of the Hoop Plug. Put some flavor in your ear.
Peace.
Peace.